Welcome to the Chaplain Global Consulting Group Cruise Concierge Academy series, your countdown to your cruise. As always, we are guiding your world of travel one journey at a time. The Countdown to Your Cruise series has a variety of topics to prepare you for your next cruise.
Hello everyone, this is Selena with Chaplain Global Consulting Group LLC, and welcome to our official Cruise Countdown series. Each Friday, I'll share a bite-sized step-by-step update to help you prepare for your upcoming sailing. Whether this is your very first cruise or you're a seasoned sailor, we will tackle all your pre-boarding logistics, starting with your travel documents. We'll also walk you through completing your check-in and navigating the Royal Caribbean app. Once your paperwork is set, we'll dive into planning your onboard lifestyle. You'll learn how to manage your onboard accounts and handle gratuities, and how to select the perfect drink packages and book unforgettable excursions. My goal is simple. I want you and everyone in your cabin to board that ship feeling confident and totally cruise ready. This is Selena with Chaplain Global Consulting Group LLC. Let's get ready to sail. Hello everyone, and welcome to the CGCG Cruise Concierge Academy. Today, we are covering two very important parts of your cruise: boarding day, as known as embarkation, and final day, as known as disembarkation. You book a cruise for the luxury and relaxation you see here, but before you can reach the pool deck, you have to navigate the logistics of the port terminal. The first and last days of your itinerary present the highest risk for operational friction. These are the moments where thousands of passengers move simultaneously, creating bottlenecks, manual processing, and significant stress. This lesson provides an exact blueprint to bypass those crowds. We are going to map out how proactive preparation and specific financial investments allow you to step around the waiting entirely. Minimizing terminal friction protects the financial investment of your luxury vacation. When you engineer your arrival and departure correctly, you preserve your peace of mind from the moment you drop your bags to the moment you head home. Look at this comparison table. On the left is the unprepared embarkation, waiting while a coordinator manually enters your information. On the right, the streamlined concierge embarkation. Reaching this requires completing your online check-in through the cruise line's app before you sail. That means scanning your passport, taking your security photo, and filling out emergency contacts. Trading 30 minutes of administrative work at home means you bypass data entry at the court. You walk in, scan your phone, and head directly to the gangway. But to keep this system flowing, you must strictly adhere to your selected arrival window. Showing up early only creates the exact terminal crowding we are trying to avoid. Doing the work up front means you literally buy back hours of actual vacation time. Instead of standing in a processing queue, you are on the ship, grabbing lunch and starting your trip. On the final morning, a mass exodus of passengers creates a major logistical hurdle. This flowchart shows your two choices for managing luggage. On your last night, you either place packed bags outside your door by 10 p.m. for porter assist, or keep everything for self-assist. If you select porter assist, the crew handles the heavy lifting, moving your bags from the ship to the terminal. But this requires meticulous planning because your main suitcases leave before you sleep. Your CGCG Cruise Concierge tip: do not pack the clothes, shoes, medication, or documents you need for disembarkation in luggage you place outside your stateroom the night before around 10 p.m. Once you retrieve those bags in the terminal, you can utilize the local porters to transport them to your car or shuttle. Tipping $5 a bag allows you to bypass the physical strain of hauling heavy luggage through the transportation hub. Ultimately, deciding between carrying your own bags or checking them the night before is a choice about how much physical exertion and mental strain you are willing to endure on your final morning. There are also financial investment options designed specifically to let you skip the standard disembarkation queues entirely. By purchasing a VIP program like the Key or booking a grand suite or higher, you gain access to priority departure. A concierge will escort you past the waiting crowds directly to the front of the line. You pay a high financial premium upfront for this privilege, and you might experience brief social friction from the people you bypass, but it guarantees the fastest possible exit from the vessel. After you leave the ship and collect your bags, you face the final operational bottleneck: clearing immigration and customs. Traveling with a passport rather than a birth certificate provides a significant speed advantage. In most U.S. ports, a passport enables you to use the rapid facial recognition lines. Leveraging financial upgrades or ensuring you have premium travel documentation is the best way for time-conscious travelers to extend their relaxing vacation mindset all the way to the curb. A premium, zero-friction cruise experience doesn't happen by accident. It is engineered through deliberate choices. For the optimizer, the strategy is simple. Maximize the app check-in, strictly adhere to your arrival window, and always travel with a passport. If you are the premium traveler, you leverage Suite Concierge services or VIP programs to buy back your time entirely. Your action steps for this week are to prepare your boarding day carry-on, review your arrival time, and clearly understand your disembarkation plan. This is Chaplain Global Consulting Group, LLC. A smooth boarding day and organized final morning can make a major difference in your cruise experience. Executing these precise action steps is what separates a standard tourist from a true concierge-class traveler.
Thank you for joining this week's CGCG Cruise Concierge Academy Countdown to Your Cruise Lesson 6. Please review this information and share it with the guests in your cabin and reach out if you have questions. This is Chaplain Global Consulting Group LLC reminding you that we are guiding your world of travel, one journey at a time. Knowledge, confidence, and smooth sailing. We've got you covered. You have now completed Lesson 6. However, if you would like additional information, please continue to watch each of the additional videos for more clarification. How do I prepare my luggage before I arrive to the port? Luggage tags preparation will help you.
Arriving at the cruise port should feel like the start of a great vacation, but pulling up to the terminal with unprepared luggage guarantees immediate stress and delays before you even reach the ship. To bypass that bottleneck, you need to prepare your baggage before leaving home. That means locating, printing, folding, and securely attaching your Royal Caribbean luggage tags so you can hand your bags straight to the porters. Equally important is knowing exactly what items to leave out of those checked bags so you aren't caught without your essentials on day one. You can complete this entire process right now, as long as you are within 30 days of your sailing, you have your Royal Caribbean login information, and you have access to a printer. Knocking out these specific tagging and packing steps at home is the most effective way to guarantee a smooth, effortless start to your trip. Log in to your Royal Caribbean guest account. Go to My Reservations, click View More Details, select View and Print Documents, then Print Luggage Tags. If you prefer to use your email, check your inbox for a message titled Guest Documents. Royal Caribbean sends this out 14 to 30 days before your sailing. Scroll to the second to last page of that PDF attachment, and you will find your tags there. Whether you pull it from the website or your email, this document contains a unique barcode and cabin assignment. Providing this to the logistics team is what allows them to route your bags to the correct room. Now that you have the file, send it to your printer. Make sure to use a color printer rather than standard black and white. The color actually matters. The terminal crew relies on specific deck color coding printed on these tags to rapidly sort thousands of suitcases. Cut the printed tag out and fold it sequentially along the 4 dotted lines to create a double-sided label. You must print and fold one distinct tag for every single piece of checked luggage. Taking the time to apply this specific multi-fold technique ensures the paper becomes durable enough to survive the heavy-duty terminal loading process. Next, you need to secure these reinforced tags to your suitcase handles. You have 3 reliable methods to choose from. The first is the staple method. Loop the folded paper firmly through the luggage handle and drive a few staples directly through the overlapping ends. The second option is the tape method. Wrap clear packing tape completely around both the folded paper and the handle. This creates a tight seal that is highly water and tear resistant. The third and often preferred method is using a reusable plastic cruise sleeve. You simply slide the paper tag into the waterproof pouch and attach it to your bag using a threaded steel wire loop. If you use the plastic sleeves, slide a personal business card inside so it faces outward on the back. This leaves your cabin number visible on one side, while giving the crew direct contact information on the other if a bag gets misplaced. If you are flying to your departure port, leave the tags off for now. Wait until you land and retrieve your bags from the airline baggage claim before attaching them, so they don't get torn off in transit. Applying your tags with these secure methods at the correct time ensures your bags won't enter the busy cruise terminal unidentified. Once your tagged bags are handed to the porters, you will not see them again for several hours. They are usually delivered after 6 p.m. Because of this long delay, packing a separate, well-stocked carry-on bag is an absolute requirement. Keep non-negotiable documents like passports, daily prescription medications, swimsuits, and beverages in your carry-on. If these go into checked bags, your vacation will be delayed. Strictly separating these essentials from your porter-bound luggage dictates whether you spend your first afternoon relaxing on deck or panicking at guest services. By following these steps, you arrive at the port fully prepared, with securely tagged checked bags and a separate carry-on holding your essentials. When you pull up to the terminal curb, you can immediately pass your checked luggage directly to the waiting porters, without needing to stop and fill out paperwork. From there, you walk freely straight onto the ship, with everything you need to start your vacation immediately. Spending a few focused minutes at home printing and securing your tags eliminates terminal confusion and turns embarkation into a smooth, effortless process.
Here is more on luggage tags.
If you are ready to set sail with either Royal Caribbean or Celebrity Cruises, then in this video, I'm going to show you how to print your luggage tag step by step so you can start your vacation stress-free. First, you will need to head over to Royal Caribbean or Celebrity Cruises website and log into your account. Being they are sister brands, their setup and process is exactly the same. Once you are logged in, go into the My Reservation section. Here you will find all of your cruise details. Your luggage tag should appear about 30 days before your sailing. Look for the link that says View and Print Your Documents, and then the button that says Print Luggage Tags. Click on that. Your luggage tags will be available in a PDF format. Download the file to your computer. Hit the print button and wait for your tags to print. For best results, use a color printer. This will help the crew get your luggage to your cabin easier. After printing, you'll need to cut and fold the luggage tags. Be sure to follow the lines carefully to put them on the luggage. You can either staple or use clear tape to hold it around the luggage. I prefer to use reusable luggage tag holders. These easily slip in, keep it dry, prevent the tags from falling off, and like I said, can be reused for future cruises. Just a quick note, if you are flying into the port, I advise you add the luggage tags to your luggage after you land so that they do not get ruined or lost by the airlines.
What else can you do before arriving to the port on boarding day, aka embarkation day? Yes, you got it. Complete the safety briefing for you and everyone in your cabin in the Royal Caribbean app. Then, all you have to do is report to your Munster station once you arrive on the ship.
Click on Safety, and then you'll see your assembly station on the top. Scroll down, watch the video about the life jackets, listen to the horn, play all the videos. You can look and see where the medical facility is located. And then if you have any children, ages 3 to 11, have them listen to this video, watch this video, and go over those steps. And when you're done, you can click Find on Deck. And then they'll show you where your assembly station is located. So you simply go to that location, and the person on board dressed in a life jacket will ask to see your phone, and they will scan your phone, and you will be all checked off, and now you can go enjoy the rest of your day and your cruise. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Thank you, and have a great cruise.
What can I expect the day I board the ship?
All right, let's talk about boarding day, aka the most exciting, can't believe it's here, but hope I don't screw it up kind of day that every cruise vacation begins with. You've been counting down for months. You woke up way too early. You're already wearing your cruise shirt like it's a team jersey, and suddenly you're standing in front of the terminal wondering why everyone forgot how lines work. Today, I'm giving you the boarding day tips you should absolutely be using if you're cruising in 2026. No outdated advice from 2012 here. My hope is that these tips are going to help you save time, stress, and possibly your sanity as well, because it's the start of your vacation. Start off the right way. Up next. In 2026, you're going to need a check-in time for when you arrive at the cruise terminal. You're able to get a check-in time closer to your sail date, and it's imperative to get on the ball in order to get those early time slots. Royal Caribbean's online check-in opens 45 days before your cruise is set to begin. It's a little confusing exactly what time check-in opens because it's 45 days at midnight based on the ship's home port time, meaning if you live in New York, but your Alaska cruise departs from Seattle, your check-in time opens at 3 a.m. Eastern or midnight Pacific. In my experience, check-in will open a few minutes past midnight. It's rarely exactly midnight, like maybe 5 or 10 minutes later. You can do online check-in via Royal Caribbean's website or their app. Trust me, my first tip here is to definitely use the app, not the website. The reason is, when the check-in process opens up, you can use the app and skip right to the part where you select your check-in time and then select the time. You can then exit the check-in process, come back to it, and finish all the information later on. When it's midnight or 3 a.m., the last thing you want to do is start getting everybody's passports out and entering information. You want to get your check-in time, put the phone down, go back to sleep, and then, of course, later on, complete the rest of the check-in process. Does the check-in time actually matter? Is it enforced? Well, kind of. Royal Caribbean says that you really should adhere to your check-in time to avoid overcrowding in the cruise terminal and to avoid potentially being turned away from the doors. Have I seen one person at the cruise terminal in the last 2 or 3 years ask if your check-in time is now and if not to wait over there? No, but theoretically it could happen, so for what it's worth, I'll continue towing the company line on that one. Number 2, speaking of check-in, you want to complete that online check-in like your cruise depends on it, because honestly, it kind of does. By 2026, really, Royal Caribbean expects you to have your passport scanned, security photo taken, emergency contacts filled out, and travel documents ready. There's just no excuse for not doing it ahead of time because it's going to save you time in the cruise terminal. Guess what you want to do on embarkation day? Get on the cruise ship, start your trip. Guess what you don't want to do on embarkation day? Stand around while a peer coordinator enters all your information and asks you how to spell your last name and doesn't understand where your address begins or ends. Not completing all of your check-in beforehand with the online app means you're going to wait in extra lines, extra scanning, and just waste time in the cruise terminal. That's not how you want to start your vacation, so do your online check-in. Obviously, get that check-in time early, but make sure you complete all the steps before your cruise begins. Not tomorrow, I'll do it later, because the best boarding times certainly go faster than the Buffalo Bills Super Bowl hopes. Sorry, Bills Mafia, still love you. Tip number 3 is make sure you give your large luggage to the porters. This may seem obvious, but every cruise I go on, I see people lugging all their giant luggage on the ship like it's really doing them a favor. This isn't an airline where, hey, there's baggage fees and you want to take your own luggage on board the ship in order to avoid them. That's not the case. You can check in as much luggage as you would like at the cruise terminal, and that just makes the boarding day process easier. I think some people might be paranoid about losing their luggage. In my experience, and I've checked so many bags in on so many cruises, it just doesn't happen. Is it possible to happen? Of course, anything's possible, and it does occasionally happen, but it's pretty rare. And this day and age of Apple AirTags and things of that nature, I just don't think it's really important to bring your own luggage and just really be saddled with it for the first few hours of your sailing. What you want to do, though, is bring with you on board the ship a carry-on bag with certain important things. These are must-haves: your passport and travel documents, any medications you have, phone chargers, sunglasses, and even a swimsuit. Why a swimsuit? Well, because nothing feels better than boarding, grabbing lunch, and then heading straight to the pool while half the ship is still wearing jeans and looking confused. This is a really great tip for being able to take advantage of one of the best times to enjoy the pool or the water slides. There are public bathrooms you can go to in order to change into your clothing, and this is a great tip for kids to be able to take advantage of much shorter lines for those water slides. So definitely pack at least one outfit with you in there and then take advantage of shorter lines for all those things on the pool deck. Tip number 4, eat lunch immediately, but not where everyone else is going. All right, everyone boards and thinks the same thing. Windjammer now. And suddenly, it's like Black Friday at Costco. Instead, check which included restaurants are open on boarding day. Oftentimes, you might have different options like Park Cafe, Solarium Bistro, or even Aquadome Market. If you do get on board the ship like immediately when boarding begins, like maybe 10:45, 11 o'clock, the Windjammer doesn't get too bad, but pretty quickly thereafter, it becomes a zoo. And if you can go to a different restaurant, whether it's a specialty restaurant, maybe you want to treat yourself and go to Giovanni's or Chops to start off your cruise, or simply go to Park Cafe, Pearl Cafe, or Aquadome Market and enjoy also a complimentary meal without the crowds, well, this is cruising efficiency. This is Yankees level fundamentals, whereas the Red Sox fans out there would still be arguing about where to sit. Tip number 5 is the cabins will open but a little bit later. Cabins usually are ready for you by about 1 o'clock. Occasionally it goes like 1:30 or 2, but that's pretty rare. But you don't need to necessarily sprint to them or wait outside the doors for them to open, like it's a concert or the new Taylor Swift tickets going on sale. What you really want to do, and again, this goes back to not having all your luggage with you, is to explore the ship in the first few hours on board. Explore, get your bearings, understand where things are, and get oriented before crowds peak. Boarding day is the only day the ship is really completely empty in certain areas. Walk around, take photos, pretend you're on a private yacht you've definitely paid full price for. Now, once the cabins do open, drop your carry-on, freshen up, and then go back to enjoying the ship again. For tip number 6, I want to have kind of a reality check with all of you, and that boarding day can be the most chaotic day of the cruise. I mean, once you get into the sailing, especially day 2 and beyond, people get into their flow, they're doing things, but embarkation day, there's a lot of people running around trying to figure out where everything is, and it can get a little bit of controlled chaos. It's a transition day. It's a lot like the Buffalo Bills of cruise days. Promising, exciting, but occasionally heartbreaking. Lines will exist, some venues won't be open yet, and you can get turned around really easily. This is pretty normal though, and keep in mind that as the cruise goes on, you get to like day 2, or even the evening of day 1, it gets a lot better. So don't expect everything to be perfectly instantly, because I think you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Instead, go with the flow, be a little flexible, and if all else fails, head to the bar and grab a drink. Next up, you really do want to do the muster drill. In fact, I would argue, I should have put this earlier in this video before we even hit up somewhere to eat lunch, but when you board the ship, you must complete the ship safety drill before the ship sets sail, which is usually right around 3 or 4 p.m. This is a requirement of every single passenger, regardless if you cruised before. Basically, in the Royal Caribbean app, you'll listen to the ship's emergency signal, as well as watch a short safety video describing how a life jacket works. The last step is to actually report to your muster station. Your muster station's location is in the Royal Caribbean app or on the back of your stateroom cabin. When you go there, you scan your set sail pass or your sea pass card, and they confirm that you've completed all the steps. It's just that simple. It's very easy. It's not like the old days where you had to line up and wait for the muster drill to actually occur. Now it's super simple, but do it early. Like, don't wait for it to do it later on, because what happens when you put it off is that it just becomes this cloud hovering over you, like, oh, I gotta still do that. Instead, knock it out as soon as you get on board the ship, and then begin enjoying your vacation. While you have the Royal Caribbean app, or at least your phone up, to do the muster drill, I really recommend you make sure you have your Royal Caribbean app set up and connected to the Wi-Fi. You don't need to purchase an internet package in order to use Royal Caribbean's app, and Royal Caribbean's app is really helpful, because when you have it set up there, you'll be able to take advantage of any reservations, like for entertainment on board, make dining changes happen, and take advantage of activities that do fill quickly. You certainly don't want to be that person saying, I didn't know we had to reserve that. Yes, you did, because the app told you. You just ignored, like a Red Sox fan ignores the standings. At this point in the video, I'd often talk about, usually on embarkation day, you want to make reservations, especially dining. Now, you certainly can do that, but if you bought a dining package, as of 2026, you should be taking advantage of the fact you could have made reservations before the cruise. Royal Caribbean made a change with its dining package that if you pre-purchase before the sailing, which would have saved you a lot of money, by the way, you would also be able to make reservations for individual restaurants. So really, on embarkation day, you shouldn't have to go make reservations. But if you're suddenly have the idea like, hey, let's make one reservation, or you forgot to make reservations for the dining package, this would be the best time to take advantage of that, because reservations do fill up as people get on board the ship. In my experience, yes, sometimes there are certain reservation times that are held back from the website. What I mean by that is when you're pre-cruise, you're looking at the website and you want to have dinner at Chop's Grill at like 6 o'clock, it may say sold out. But then you get on board the ship, and I found, in some cases, anecdotally of course, that there are additional reservation slots for 6 p.m. So if you were on the fence or there wasn't the time you really wanted, now is the time to go to the specialty restaurants and make those reservations. If you're traveling with kids, well, then you're going to want to go to Adventure Ocean or the Teen Club to register them. There's an open house for Adventure Ocean on the first day, and this is an opportunity for you to meet the staff and for the kids to meet the staff and see what's all about. By registering your kids, you'll be able to save time later on because, of course, they need to have certain information on there, like any allergies, special needs, etc. And it also allows you to ask questions of the staff and for the kids to get acclimated with the space. Now, Adventure Ocean, which is the kids club, will not be open on embarkation day in the afternoon. Rather, it will open later that evening, almost always around 7 o'clock p.m. But you want to sign up early in order to avoid the line later on. When check-in begins for Adventure Ocean later at like 7 o'clock, there's some people who want to check in, not stand around and check in their kids and fill out information and whatnot. So take advantage of this time early. This is also true of the Teen Club. The Teen Club is obviously a little more free-flowing than Adventure Ocean, but it does require teens to sign up for it, and the best time to do this is in the early afternoon. Usually you can begin the registration process for either Adventure Ocean or the Teens Club at 1 o'clock. Something else that's really fun to do on Embarkation Day, especially if you've never cruised before, is take a tour of the spa. Every Royal Caribbean cruise ship has a Vitality Spa on board, and you can take a no-obligation complimentary tour of the spa. You might be thinking, Matt, why the heck would I want to spend my time looking at the spa, which is a glorified sales pitch? Honestly, it's kind of cool to see the facilities there. And there's no obligation to book anything. Technically speaking, if you do the spa tour, you can also qualify for like a voucher into a giveaway for like a couple $100 off a spa treatment. I never do this personally, but you could qualify for that. But I really do believe that as a new cruiser, or at least new to that particular ship, it is advantageous to see the facilities, not only where you can get a massage, but other treatments, the salon, the fitness center. You might open your eyes to something you weren't thinking about, but now suddenly want to take advantage of while on board. So I'm about 11 minutes into this video, and I haven't really told anybody to actually, relax. This is the beginning of your cruise. I mean, if you board the ship early, because you took advantage of my earlier tip by getting an early check-in time, well, you're going to have a couple of hours before the ship begins to actually depart. And I think it's really important to take advantage of that time. Whether you want to take a nap on one of the loungers, go to the bar, enjoy one of the early activities on board, you're on your cruise. And part of that exploration I talked about earlier about, getting your bearings is also, maybe stopping to smell the roses, or in this case, maybe stopping to grab a drink at a particular bar, enjoy the sun, really start to enjoy your cruise. And I think it's really important because we get really hung up on you got to do all these things like a military operation. But the truth is, you can really and should really start your vacation on the right foot with plenty of relaxation. If you have a drink package, take advantage of that on Embarkation Day and, just really enjoy what your ship has to offer the most. One lesson, though, I have learned about Embarkation Day that I think is important is unpacking on day one. The reason is living out of your suitcase, I think, is overrated, and it gets more annoying than saving time, quite frankly. If I actually take the time on Embarkation Day to unpack my bags, I just find that it's easier to get all my things that I'm looking for, and it clears up the room. It feels like there's less clutter, and I just enjoy my stateroom a heck of a lot more. Your suitcases will be delivered to you on Embarkation Day later on in the afternoon, somewhere between 1 and 3 o'clock usually. In my experience, in a lot of cases, if you actually look up and down the hallway near your cabin, you may actually spot your bags already. If you do spot your bags in the hallway at a station where they're going to be eventually delivered to your cabin, you can certainly grab it and bring it to your room. You don't have to wait for it to be delivered to your door. So you could periodically look around to see if it's available out there, grab your stuff, and then bring it to your cabin. Before your ship sails away, I do think it's also important to put your phone into airplane mode. In this day and age, you want to make sure you're not racking up incredibly large roaming fees by keeping your phone active while your ship sets sail. Once your ship leaves port and goes out to the open ocean, your phone will be roaming back on the ship's cell phone tower there, which could cost you a lot of money. So instead, use your phone while you're in port for, texts and phone calls, say goodbye to everybody. But then put your phone into airplane mode to avoid roaming charges. This is really easy on any new phone. It's pretty simple to put your phone into airplane mode, and that way you can still use the Wi-Fi features without incurring roaming charges. Something else to do before your ship sets sail is, of course, if you have any seasickness medication you need to take, now is the time for that. If you're taking things like Bonon or Meclizine or Benadryl, things that basically you can do over the counter that you need to take once a day, this might be a really good time to take it so it can start kicking in. Next up, it is time to find your sail away spot. And I think it's important to scout one out as part of your cruise exploration process. Ideally, you want to find somewhere that's within walking distance of a bar nearby. Not necessarily, you could BYOB certainly, but you want to find the perfect spot for you to enjoy sail away. Whether it's on your balcony, or up on the pool deck, or at the ship's helipad at the front of the ship, or even on one of the promenade decks on the side. Whatever suits your needs in terms of sun, entertainment, music, and shade, well, that's the most important thing out there. The top deck, the pool deck, will have a party up there, and that's where you're going to go for the, hey, we're on a party, YMCA type experience. But for other people who want more of a sedated experience, quieter thing, well, I would recommend one of the lower decks. Even your own balcony might be worthwhile. The sail away party is a lot of fun. It's an excuse to get out there and dance. Personally, I just enjoy the energy of it. You won't see me dancing the electric slide, but it's still nice to be out there among everybody else and joining in the we're on vacation, our cruise is beginning kind of excitement. So there you have it, all my boarding day tips for 2026. I really hope that these tips will help set the tone for your entire cruise because you'll show up prepared, follow your arrival time, pack smart, and be flexible.
You have enjoyed your cruise and now it is time to prepare for the final day known as Disembarkation Day. How can I prepare for a smooth departure off the ship?
There are a lot of reasons why you might want to get off your cruise ship as early as possible on Disembarkation Day. I mean, nobody wants to get off their cruise and end it, but sometimes you just have to do that. You might want to also know what are the secrets to getting off the cruise ship as early as you can. Well, I'm spilling the tea on exactly how to get off your cruise ship as early as possible. To be clear, you don't need to get off the ship as early as possible if you don't want to. Royal Caribbean allows you to stay on the ship until about 9 or 9:30 or so. And then at that point, they very graciously encourage you to get off the ship because they need to get ready for the next passengers. But for a lot of people, there's a lot of good reasons to get off the ship very early. You might have an early flight to catch. You might have to get to work because you need to drive there. Or simply you want to rip off that Band-Aid and get off the ship. So the first secret to know about getting off the ship as early as possible is you need to be carrying your own luggage off the ship. Royal Caribbean gives you the option of having your luggage taken off the ship for you and delivered into the cruise terminal. That's where those luggage tags will be. They give it to you on the last night of the cruise, and you're supposed to put them on your luggage and then put them in the hallway and then wave goodbye to them as they are delivered for you, and you'll see them later on in the cruise terminal. The problem with this strategy is that requires, of course, the luggage to be delivered, and it takes some time. And those numbers that are on your luggage tag correspond to a time that your luggage will be delivered. So what that means is if you want to be the first ones off the ship, that won't work because the people who are their own luggage that they're carrying off are the ones that are able to get off the ship. So if it's a priority for you to be literally the first people off the ship, then do not leave your luggage out in the hallway. Now, the downside of this is that means you need to carry your own luggage off without any assistance by Royal Caribbean. So if you're on a shorter cruise or you pack lightly and have small bags, that's not a problem. But if your luggage resembles more of a traveling circus, I'm looking at you, Erica, then this might not be the option for you. Or at least maybe book a cabin close to the Royal Promenade or the Sun Trim so you can easily carry it off the ship. But you need to consider those logistics and how realistic that truly is for you. Sure, there are elevators working in the morning, but the elevators can be very busy, not to mention the fact that if you have many bags and you've got kids who are useless to carry those bags, it can be really a huge burden trying to actually get them off the ship. You'll need to carry the bags off yourself, but once you're in the cruise terminal, there will be porters there who can help you at that point. So as long as you can get it off the ship, down the gangway, you're pretty much good to go, but think about that logistically. The second secret to know about getting off the ship as early as possible is there's not an exact time that you can bet on as to when you can actually get off the ship. Even if you're ready to go with your bags, it takes time for your cruise ship to dock and get cleared by local authorities. Now, when you look at your cruise documents, Royal Caribbean gives you a time on there. I might say like 6 a.m. as an example. But trust me when I tell you, that is a rough estimate and not actually when you can get off the ship. This is a very common misconception. The exact time that a ship will begin allowing passengers to get off the ship will depend on a variety of factors, but it's usually right around 7 a.m., sometimes earlier, sometimes later. In fact, on Utopia of the Seas, an icon of the seas, for whatever reason, they've really got that down to a science, and those ships have begun the disembarkation process a heck of a lot earlier than other sailings. When I was on Enchantment of the Seas, we were still docking at 7 a.m., so it can take some time. Whether or not the disembarkation process has begun or not, there will be a line for the gangway that starts to form. Now, Royal Caribbean tells you in those documents you're going to get on that last day of the cruise where you can go to relax, and there's different lounges depending on your luggage tag numbers or if you're doing self-assist. The idea there is that you can sit, relax, have a cup of coffee, and wait to be called. But I find that if you truly want to be among the first to get off the ship, you should get in line for the gangway. There will be signs around the Centrum or the Royal Promenade that indicate, hey, this is where to go for the gangway, and naturally a line forms there. And of course, people waiting in line there will be among the first to get off the ship. Now, there's two hacks or ways around really this line. Number one is if you buy the key. Now, I've talked about the fact that I don't love the key, but the key is the VIP program that you can buy into on a Royal Caribbean cruise. It gives you certain benefits, and one of them is priority disembarkation. Basically, there is usually like a separate line for the key. Ask the crew members when you're getting off the ship, hey, I have the key, where can I go to disembark? And there's either a lounge or a special line just for them, and they'll basically escort you to the front of the line. The other option is if you're staying in a suite. So if you booked a grand suite or higher, not a junior suite, but grand suite or higher, then you can speak to the concierge before the last day, and they will tell you where to go on disembarkation day. The concierge will then escort you off the ship. And what that really means is they'll cut the line. So remember that big line that everyone else is waiting for to get off the ship? Well, the concierge literally cuts the line. You're gonna get some dirty looks, but I've done it many times. Don't let them bother. You won't see them ever again. But they're gonna get you right to the front of the line and off the ship as early as possible. Truly, the concierge is probably the most reliable way to get off the ship as early as possible, short of being like the first 10 people in line for that gangway line. When my kids were younger, staying in a suite to have priority disembarkation was like such an easy button to press that we often did it many times. That's not to say that we don't do it all the time now, but it is a really nice perk to have that. In addition, if you're staying in one of Royal Caribbean's newer cruise ships like the Icon class, the Quantum class, or the Oasis class, and you're staying in Star class, well, your Royal Genie can get you off the ship like even faster than that. It's amazing those benefits the Genie have. Again, I wouldn't say that you should book a suite or have a Royal Genie specifically for the benefit of walking off the ship as early as you can, but it's certainly a nice benefit to have, and if that's important to you, that's something that you should consider. So now that you have this information, you're thinking to yourself, all right, Matt, what's the earliest flight I should book after the cruise is over? Because I want to be able to take advantage of these tips you're giving me and get home a little bit faster. Because oftentimes you're looking at flight schedules and there's always that one morning flight that could get you back home so much earlier than the 3 o'clock flight, which you're spending a lot of time wasting around in the airport. The problem is if you book a flight too early, you risk missing the flight because you couldn't get to the gate on time. And this really boils down to a lot of factors that are hard to guesstimate in advance, like what time your ship actually docks, how long it takes local authorities to actually inspect the ship and approve it for disembarkation, how long a line there forms for the disembarkation line, and then other unforeseen circumstances like maybe traffic in the cruise terminal or a technical problem or somebody just blocking the exit of the ship because they don't have their seat pass card. As a general rule of thumb, I recommend times after 11 a.m. for a flight. International flights, or if you're going to an airport that's an hour or more from the cruise terminal, should probably require a flight no earlier than noon. Again, it obviously depends on where you're cruising into, where the airport is, if you're a resident of that country or not, but I wouldn't book anything before 11 a.m. It's just too risky, and I don't need that kind of anxiety in my life personally. And I also wanted to share what everybody should do before you actually leave the ship, because if you're like me, you're in a rush, you want to get off the ship, and that morning brain is not functioning at 100%. So if you're in the rush to leave the ship, there are a few important things to do before you disembark. And these may seem obvious, but I'm telling you from experience, I've forgotten a few things along the way. Number one, double and triple check you have all your belongings, because once you leave the ship, getting lost items back is a real challenge. Common items left behind on the ship include children's toys, so check under the bed, chargers and wall sockets, and valuables in the safe. The next thing to do is verify that your onboard balance is zeroed out. If you have a credit card on file, that's pretty much assured. But if you had a cash account, you will need to settle up with guest services. Otherwise, when you get to the disembarkation point, you're going to be denied and turned around to get back to guest services. Speaking of your account, I would recommend taking one last look to review any charges on there to verify that it's all correct. You want to correct any erroneous charges before you disembark the ship. If you ordered photo prints, this is your last chance to get them, or order them, even the digital ones, because once you leave the ship, you cannot order prints or pick up prints you already ordered from the ship. It's like once you leave the ship, they disappear. So that's it. Likewise, it's actually your last opportunity to book a cruise at Next Cruise if you wanted to. I mean, this probably flies in the face of trying to get off the ship as early as humanly possible, but you could book another cruise at Next Cruise the morning of the disembarkation process. The Next Cruise office is open. And lastly, return any pool towels that are still in your room, or you'll be hit with a $20 unreturned towel fee. What I usually do is go right up to the towel station and be like, hey, do I have any towels left? And, just get that zeroed out just to triple check on that. Once you make your way to the gangway, you're going to scan your CPAS card for one last time, and then that's it. You can keep your CPAS card, throw it away. It's up to you. As you move through the cruise terminal, it's kind of similar to maybe what it's like in an airport when you fly home after an international trip. First, you'll make your way to pick up your luggage. Now, again, if you're carrying your own luggage off, well, you're going to bypass all of this, but you'll see them there. As I mentioned, there will be porters to help you with your luggage. If you'd like to, there's no cost to use the porters, but it is expected to have a tip. When I'm there with my kids and my family, got a lot of luggage, I will use the porters every time. Paying somebody $5 in a tip in order not to carry luggage and throw my back out the morning of the cruise being over is worth it every single time, in my opinion. After retrieving your luggage, your next stop is to clear immigration. In the US, there's two lines, people traveling with passports and people traveling with birth certificates. In most US ports now, there's facial recognition, and that's reserved for those with passports, and it's super fast and super efficient. You simply walk to a machine, it scans your face, and tells you if you're good to go or need to speak with somebody. 99.9% of the time, you're good to go. The birth certificate line, though, is slower because it requires an agent to inspect your documentation manually. After you clear immigration, you'll depart the cruise terminal. At this point, you're on your own to find a way home. There will be taxis, shuttle services, ride shares, and of course, maybe even your own car waiting for you. But you should have a plan in place prior to the morning of how you're going to get home to avoid complications or unexpected delays. Well, there you have the secrets to getting off the ship as early as humanly possible. Carry your own luggage off, have everything packed and ready to go for that morning. And if you want to, you could book a suite or book the key in order to get a fast pass line, if you will, to get off the ship just a little bit faster than that. In my experience, the disembarkation process begins somewhere between 6:30 and 7:30 a.m. Again, depends on the ship, the port, and a variety of other factors. But hopefully this information will help you get off the ship as fast as humanly possible. Let me know in the comments below, did I miss any tips or any things that could really improve your chances of getting off a cruise ship early? And if you have any questions about what it's like to get off the ship and any concerns you might still have about disembarkation, post them down there, we'll help you out. While you're down below our video, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications. That way YouTube lets you know we have a brand new video to share. This has been Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. We'll talk again real soon.
Thank you once again. Remember, I am here with you every step of the way as we are guiding your world of travel, one journey at a time. Chaplain Global Consulting Group promises to provide expert advice, personal service, stress-free planning, and unforgettable memories. The Countdown to Your Cruise series has a variety of topics to prepare you for your next cruise. Thank you for joining this week's CGCG Cruise Concierge Academy Countdown to Your Cruise Lesson 6. Please review this information and share it with the guests in your cabin, and reach out if you have questions. This is Chaplain Global Consulting Group LLC reminding you that we are guiding your world of travel, one journey at a time. Knowledge, confidence, and smooth sailing. We've got you covered. We will see you next week for Lesson 7.